There's some common myths about your field or expertise, real estate in particular. I feel like you touched on a couple of them, or a little bit earlier, but just answer that question for me.
One of the biggest myths that I hear a lot is that real estate's the only way, or one of the main ways to wealth. And I thought about this recently, and I had a debate with a few people, and I would tell people the real estate investing game is good, but it's good for certain types of people. And it's a very long-term process. And I've said to people, they're like, yeah, if I get like a house or two, I'll be rich. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. I was like, first of all, it takes a lot of time for most people. If you're working an average job or even like a good job or great job, it takes a while to save up enough money for even like a down payment. Then you have to like get the house. Then you have to get the tenant. Then once the tenant's in, you got to make sure you have enough money put aside, which people don't think about. I tell people, like, you think you're going to get a house and have like $1,000 cash flow from one house. You're probably gonna have like 200, 300. It depends on where you live, of course.
Sure.
But let's say $200 to $500 cash flow per house. So say you want to make like $5,000 a month passive. You're going to have to buy, my math is garbage. Was that like 10 houses to get $5,000 a month? Is my math right? $500.
That's about right.
I probably screwed the math up real bad.
No, but you're right. But you're right. That's true. You know what I'm saying? That's true. Yeah.
Which is a long process. And if you're not the kind of person who, because for people don't understand, like, you don't just buy the house and then it sits there. Like, tenants don't just come to your house once there's a house. You got to market it. You might have to get a real estate agent. You might have to at least put a sign out, put it on Zillow or whatever. So it's work involved. You're not just it's not.
People just think of sell, gone.
Exactly.
Hey, buy, got this, boom. It doesn't happen like that. That's true. It's a process.
Yeah. So I say, like, and for some people that's fine, but it's not the only type of asset you can get. You can also start a business. And I personally think a business, and I'm a real estate agent, so I know it's probably weird. I think a business is better than real estate, because a business, especially now, you guys doing like a podcast, the podcast might take a year, 2 years, 3 years to blow up, or, it's doing good now. But let's say you guys get like 1 million on YouTube. You guys are making a lot of money from it. It's a better asset, one, because it's in the comfort of your studio.
Right.
Yeah. So, which is nice. You can control it,
right,
which you can't always do with real estate because of zoning and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Not a lot of upfront costs, not dealing with no banks.
Exactly. You can't really fail as easily. Real estate, even if you're paying the mortgage, if the bank suddenly starts to go crazy, they can pull a Grant Cardone and be like, hey, you know what? Even though your credit's good, even though you got assets, we're going under. So fuck you.
Exactly. Yep.
And then it's like, well, I haven't done anything wrong. It doesn't matter. We did something wrong, but we're going to put it on you because we can. And it's like,
see you later.
Yeah. So like a business, you got more control over.
Man.
If you guys want to. You guys have a very nice setup here, but let's just say you found like let's say you found a way to like pack it up, and maybe you want to go to like LA or Miami or something like that. You can move, you can be like geographically
sure
independent for the most part.
Yeah, because, and I think that's the difference too. A lot of people don't understand. You have the actual business, and then you actually have the brand. Yeah, the brand moves anywhere.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the businesses can be out of this location, that location, but the key thing that people following now is the brand. And so I agree, putting more into, I say, a brand, especially influential brand. I mean, I think that's definitely good, because who's going to replace you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you got your audience, who replaces you?
Yeah. So, I think that's one of the biggest myths about real estate that I try to counter. Like, real estate's good. Real estate has its upsides. But I think most people, they think about like real estate and they think of passive income. I'm going to be rich.
Well, do you think that happened because most people haven't evolved in thought? Because let's be honest, if this was the 60s or 70s, that probably would be the best way. Yeah. But now with the internet and stuff over the past 10 to 20 years, maybe they just haven't evolved in their thinking. Do you think that's what it is? Or you think it's always kind of been other routes that you could take besides real estate even back then?
Yeah. I think there's always been other routes. I think nowadays some routes are easier than others. Like, I think back then real estate might have been easier. Like, you could have been Jeff Bezos and tried to start Amazon, but then there was like really I guess it was like the 90s when you first started. So it was internet, but it wasn't the same as now.
Yeah.
So you got to like worry about.
And you ready to put 20 years in? Like,
yeah, you don't know if it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
So, real estate might have been easier because the house back then anywhere could have been like 50, 100K. Your wages was like 50K. So it wasn't as bad. Nowadays,
and you start kind of making passive income almost immediately. If you get like a 4-unit, maybe not, but if you get like you got the money to get like a 16-unit, 18-unit, especially in a good area that has low vacancy rates, you're making passive income. You're buying income. You're basically buying income at that point.
Yeah.
So no, that's true. It might have been the easiest one. That's true.